What's up guys, Alex here again with another unboxing video of the Billy Goat V3. This is a little bit different from our previous unboxing of the V2. This one has a higher voltage battery, a little bit higher, along with a second battery position available with an option to buy an external battery on the Goat website. Let's get this thing unboxed and get started. Now that we got the bike all unpackaged out of the box, we can consolidate everything that came in the box. We have the front wheel, which we can put on last. Front fender. This is going to be our toolkit. So in here we have our charger, a little bit bigger than the V2 version. We have our battery, as you can see, like I said before, it is a bigger battery. We have our toolkit right here. Right here we have our rear view mirrors, blinkers, front headlight, and then these are the pegs for the rider. First we can put the pegs on. They'll be pretty quick and easy. It's specific to side. On the pegs, it will have a left and right peg to make it a little bit easier. Left is gonna be when you're looking at the front of the bike, left and then right. And on the left side, it is going to screw in counterclockwise. That's just how the threads work on these bikes. All right, now we can get started with the handlebars. So for the handlebars, we're going to need the Allen key set. Take out the right size, and we're going to undo the stem bolts. All right, now that we have the stem cap off, what we'll be doing is we'll be installing the handlebars. A mistake not to make is just like always, we want to have the cables for the handlebars in the front of the bike, not behind the handlebars. So we'll have to configure this properly. You might have to twist it around a bit, and then there we go. So before you tighten it down, this should look like this, where the cables are in front of the handlebars. And once it's like this, we can put our stem cap right on top, take our bolts, and just thread them by hand first. Now that we have them tightened by hand, we can take our Allen key and just tighten them up. So like always, we want to make sure we're tightening them evenly. A good guide for that is there is a gap in between the stem cap and the handlebars, to just make sure that gap is relatively even. Once you have it a little bit snug, we can adjust the handlebars to our preferred height and angle, and then we can go ahead and tighten it down the rest from there. All right, now that we have the handlebars all installed, we can move on to another accessory onto the cockpit. Let's get the cockpit all assembled first. We can do the headlight. For the headlight, all the hardware you'll need is already pre-installed on the bike and the headlight. So you can see you want the headlight facing upright. Just unscrew these bolts, align it with the holes on the brackets, and then we can just thread them by hand. There we go. Once we get it started by hand, we can take our Allen key, looks like a number 5, and tighten it the rest of the way up. All right, as we can see, the headlight has a green plug on it. So we can just move the plug down here to where the other plugs are. And as you can see, there are 3 plugs here. These 2 orange little plugs will be for our blinkers, which we will install next. But we can just plug the light. And here there are 2 arrows pointed together. Make sure those line up. And then you got that plugged in. Now we can move on to the next part, which is the blinkers, which we have right here. For the blinkers, there is a little LED display on the bottom of them. That's how you know the top and bottom. So this light down here will illuminate the road when installed properly. So this one, lights on the bottom, so we'll put this on the right side of the bike as we're looking at the bike. We're going to unscrew this, pull it off, feed the wire through the hole right here. Once we have that fed through, we can put the nut back through here. And then we can just get this started by hand. Awesome. And once that one's installed, you can plug it in to the other orange plug down here. Make sure that the arrows line up. Blinker number 1 installed, and we'll do the same for the other side. Awesome. And then just like before, we will attach it to the one cable left, exposed. There we go. And now we have our headlights, handlebars, and turn signals installed. Next, we can move on to the fender. And same with this one, all the hardware we need for this is already installed on the bike. So for this, we are going to need, it looks like a number 5 Allen key for right here, along with one of the wrenches provided in the toolkit. In this case, we are going to need the number 10. So put that right there. Loosen this. Make sure you don't lose the washers. There's a washer on each side of it. And then once that's fed through, washer, nut, and then we can tighten it up. All right, and for the second part, there are 2 more bolts to attach. We are going to use the number 4 and loosen these bolts on the fork. Get those loose and taken off. We can just maneuver this over here. Same with the other side. All right, now we have the fender, headlight, turn signals, and handlebars installed. Last thing to get the whole cockpit complete would be to do the front wheel, but we won't do that until the very end because it's nice to keep the bike on this platform so it doesn't fall over. All right, next thing we'll do is install the rear view mirrors. Take them out of our box right here. Packaged very nicely. For these, first what we'll actually do is install the brackets for them. We're going to need our smaller set of wrenches, and we'll just loosen the brackets a little bit because we need to take it apart to install it on the bike. We can attach it to the handlebars on the bike. In this case, we'll just go like this. Get it started by hand on both of them. All right, we got one installed. Let's move on to the next one. Thread by hand. All right. And now we can move on to the step where we install the rear view mirrors. We unpackage these, and the hardware for these will be provided in the box. It comes with 2 bolts and 2 lock washers. Pop the cap off. Make sure the bolt and the washer are together like this. Right here, and then we can just thread it on by hand. And it looks like we will need either a number 5 or 6. I believe number 6 Allen key. Yep. So we'll take our number 6 Allen key and then we can just tighten it down. Then we can maneuver them to our preference. And here we go. We will do the same with the other rear view mirror. All right. Now we have almost the entire cockpit assembled. All right, next thing, we are going to install the back pegs. That will be, the pegs for the back will be included in the little toolkit. And then we also will need the 10mm wrench provided. Pretty simple and easy. Unscrew these, feed it through. And we can just do this by hand. There we go, flips up and down. Don't even need the wrench for that. Then we'll do the same on the other side. And we can just tighten this by hand. There we go. All right, pegs flip up and down, all set. All right, now to install the wheel. I'm sure in previous videos you guys have seen us, we use a friend to hold the bike up while we put the wheel on. An alternative way to do it is we can just flip the bike upside down. So all we'll do, hold the rear brake, bike comes up, and we can flip it right upside down. Once we have the bike upside down, we can take our wheel and the wheel hardware. Come over here. So now we get the wheel on, we just need to make sure we put the spacers in properly. There will be a big spacer and a little spacer. The big spacer will go on the non-brake rotor side. Once we do that, we can feed it through. We have our washers. We already have the washers installed on this side. We put the flat washer with the little notch on it first. Then we put the flat washer, and then we can put the nut on. Tighten it by hand, and then we can use the wrench set provided to tighten it down. Great. That was pretty simple and easy. All we'll do is we can now just pick up the bike. And just bring it back over, hold the brake as you let it down. Let it down nice and gently. And awesome, we are all set. We have 2 sets of keys. One set of keys is for the battery and one set is for the ignition. So we can just put the ignition keys in there. And then we have the battery. So last but not least, we will install the battery. Make sure everything's lined up properly, bottom, top. What we'll do is we're gonna slide the bottom in first. Once we get that slide in, make sure the bottom looks lined up, and then we can just push. Hear that click, wobble it around, make sure everything feels good, and then that's how we know that our battery is installed. If you see our battery installed, the hazard went on. So what we'll do is we turn the key on, press the power button, the display lights up, and we are all set to go. Now we can check our return signals. Let's turn the light off. We've left, right. That's how you know that we configured the cables properly. If they are mismatched and you hit the left turn signal and the right one turns on, all you have to do is come down here and just switch out these orange plugs from earlier. Check everything else, headlights, check the horn. Awesome. Everything looks good. This bike is all set, ready to ride. All right, that concludes our video of the unboxing and assembly of the Billy Goat V3. Hopefully your assembly process went as quickly and as smoothly as ours. If not, you have any questions or concerns, feel free to leave a comment down below and we'd be happy to get to that as soon as possible.